Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today's video is the first video out of my new collection that is available in my shop, creaturethat.com. It is a Japanese mythology collection, and this one is a Nekomata. So this is probably my favorite one that I've made from this collection. So let's get started. So I'm starting off by sculpting the mouth. The mouth is open on this doll, so I'm using Super Sculpey for the gum area, and I'm using Translucent Sculpey for the teeth. And I'm just going to be creating a sort of fantasy-ish, a bit more spiky mouth with the teeth than what a regular cat would look like. I originally was going to make it a movable jaw, but I just ended up going for a solid open mouth sculpt. So I'm just sculpting the mouthpiece first, and then I can start sculpting the entire head once this has been baked and ready to go. So it has a little tongue in it as well, so I am using the Super Sculpey for the tongue, just because it's a nice beigey, translucenty sort of colour and texture to it, so it works really well for mouthpieces. So once that's baked, I can start working on the head. So the head, I'm using a aluminium foil core, and that acts as sort of like a skull, and doesn't make the polymer clay too thick, so it can the heat can penetrate and bake it properly. And I'm just covering it with Sculpey Original. That is the white Sculpey. It's quite soft when you work it, so I like using softer clays, hence the reason why I use Sculpey Original for most of my things. And I'm just placing the mouthpiece where I think I want the mouth to be, and then I'm just going to go and basically sculpt the head around it. So sometimes it's a little bit tricky doing it this way because I guess the mouth doesn't always sit in the position that you want it to, because you're not sculpting it all in one piece, you're pre-baking it first, so you can't make any adjustments to it. But I guess the beauty of it is you can sort of make the sculpt a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, just depending on the mouthpiece. So now I'm just creating the muzzle area, and there's little lip areas as well. The nose, I'm also using Super Sculpey to create just a little nose piece that I'm going to put on top, and I can start working on the way I want the nose to sit once it's in place. And then I can start working on the snout area and just building up all of the details from here on out. I am going to be using glass eyes for this one. So I basically just rough out how I want the head to look, and then I sculpt the eyes in, and then sort of finalize the way everything looks. So the glass eyes that I'm using are yellow with like a cat eye inside of it. So I just create like these little eye socket type things and just place the cabochons on top. These are pre-bought ones. Sometimes I paint them, like hand paint them, just depending on what I want the eye to look like. Once it's in place, I can start working on the eyelids. So this is really where the character comes to life. The way you have the eyelid sitting really creates a different look and a different feel to the doll. So just have a little play around with eyelids and see what type of expression you like. Once I'm happy with the way the expression is, I can start working on the brow. So just building all that detailing up at this point. So now I'm just bulking out the head, just adding pieces of clay on the side. I can start working on the ears once it's all been bulked out and smoothed. The ears are quite big and pointy for this one, so a little bit different from regular cat. And just like the overall look is a little bit different. I went for more of a woodblock type look to it. However, you can translate that to sculpting, and just adding some little detailings in the brow area. Okay, so once it's been baked, I can add the armature. So I'm using a small armature, the 1/8 size armature for this one, and I've attached it using some epoxy sculpt. Once it's done, I can, and all dry cured, I can start painting up all of the pieces that need to be painted. So I'm just painting around the eyes I'm sort of extending that eye quite long. And I'm also painting around the mouth in some black sort of liner. The feet for this are resin. I didn't paint any of it because I covered it with fur, so there's no like paw pads or anything showing. For the rest of the armature, I'm putting it all together using my pliers, specifically for these armatures. And for the tail, I've used a Y socket, which will create the 2 tail armature pieces. And if you're wondering, I have these in my shop. I'm currently out of this sized pliers, but I will get some more in the future when I need to stock up on things. But I have other 2 sizes of pliers and plenty of armature pieces in my shop, creaturenet.com. So I'm wrapping the armature in some pipe cleaner, and that sort of acts as a catch for the felting fibre that I use. The felting fibre I use is called polyfill, and it's basically stuff that you fill your cushion with. It works really well for needle felting. This is a little look at what it looks like. Comes in like a big clump in a bag and I find it works really well for needle felting instead of using the fibre. This is the needle felting tool that I'm going to be using. I like to use a single one, but you can also get like holders with multiple things. I find the single one works quite well, so I just basically wrap it around the armature and just start poking until it's all comes together. Once the basic enough muscle tone has been done, I can start pinning the faux fur together, and this will become the torso piece of the body, and also cut around where I want the legs to go, and just giving it all over trim before I start sewing everything up. For sewing, I use a ladder stitch and good quality thread. You want your thread to be quite strong because you need to put a bit of tension on it, especially with the faux fur, so it closes the seam properly. It takes a bit longer this way, but I think the final product and just works out a lot better than my old method, which was basically like sewing a plush toy type body and then putting the armature inside. I find it's a lot more time consuming, but you can refine the body a lot better this way. Once the torso piece has been sewn up, I can sew up all the leg pieces, so obviously 4 bits on this one. And I also do the neck area, and I also do 2 tail pieces for this doll as well. Once it's all been sewn up, I can glue everything together. So I use a tacky fabric glue to glue basically around the neck and the feet area. I don't really glue anything else unless I'm adding faux fur to the face, which I will be for this one. And this is just from my local craft store. It's nothing fancy, it's just like a clear, thick fabric glue that works really well to hold this together. So I've gone ahead, given it an all over trim and added some faux fur to the face, and I'm just going around and cleaning up all the eye area and the mouth area, and then I'm going to be adding just some little bit of extra detailing to the face using that same paint that I used at the start. And for this one, I'm going to do it in a calico color. So I have some images up on my computer to help me with some patterning, and I'm going to be using some fabric paint to do the calico markings on the body. So I decided to go for all white and add the markings myself instead of trying to find a fabric that works. It takes a little bit of time to do markings on faux fur, but I think you can get the patterning exactly how you want it. And I'm doing it with a brush this time. I also do it with an airbrush depending on what I'm working on. Airbrushes work really well. It's just you have to do a lot of combing when you're doing it because it starts to clump, and you sort of got to spread the paint around a little bit. So I'm basically, as I'm going, I'm brushing out that faux fur and sort of spreading it around so it stays soft and it doesn't clump together. So it's very important to brush your fabric out when you're adding fabric paint to it. So I did all of the orange first, obviously, and then I went over and started with all the black around and just sort of freehanded everything. I had some images, like I said, just for a little bit of inspiration, but ultimately I just ended up freehanding where I wanted things to be, where I think would look best. And it's pretty much it for the whiskers. I added some whiskers. I have a tutorial in my shop if you want to know how I do whiskers and what I use. Again, creaturenet.com. There's plenty of tutorials up there if you want to know how I do certain things. But yeah, this guy is available in my shop, so check it out. And payment plans are also welcome. I'm pretty flexible with those. I try to sort of cater to the customer. So just shoot me a message if you're interested in any of these dolls from this Japanese mythology collection, and I can tell you how all of that works. But anyway, thank you to my patrons for supporting me. I really appreciate it. Head over there. They get early access to all my work, plus a little bit extra stuff. And yeah, check me out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that stuff. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.